Violet Evergarden is a Japanese light novel series written by Kana Akatsuki and illustrated by Akiko Takase. A 13-episode anime adaptation by Kyoto Animation was aired between January to April of 2018. Now, Violet Evergarden is about the main character, Violet Evergarden, who goes through the journey of finding out the meaning of the words "I love you," and it's basically a coming-of-age story of how she becomes more than who she actually is. In this episode of My Thoughts On, I'll be talking about the series and how good of a series it is as a whole. And I'll be joined with me today with a special guest, a good friend of mine, Amir Faiz.
Hello guys, hope you're all well. Thank you, Amir Faiz, for having me here. It's an honor to have a discussion with you about one of my favorite anime series. A little bit about myself. I've always watched anime before, but not as hardcore as I do now. Only watched series like Detective Conan, one of my favorites of all time, Naruto, and Dragon Ball during my childhood times. Ever since August 2018, I am so caught into it. When I realized there are a lot of other great series out there and that I'm missing out and stuff. And I've decided to extend my cup of tea. Series like Violet Evergarden, Steins Gate, Nisekoi, what else? SAO, Your Lie in April, Otaku, and many others. I could list them all. And yeah, ever since that, I've been filling up my free time with different series, one after another, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
Thank you again, Amir, for joining me. Just like in any series, a series can be evaluated in two different ways. One is the entirety of the whole series, and number two is episodically, meaning that you look at the series based on its specific episodes. A simple example would be Avatar: The Last Airbender. You can say that in one perspective, Avatar: The Last Airbender is an amazing series. It is a masterpiece, but in the another perspective, you can say that it has well-written episodes with a few bad filler episodes. So these two ways are how me and Amir will be talking about Violet Evergarden.
Right, so Violet Evergarden, in terms of episodes, the first couple episodes didn't really pull as much attention compared to the later episodes. It sets up the mood or the atmosphere of the anime as a whole, and it sort of builds her character as you go along. And the way the developers do this is that they introduce new characters, by Violet being someone who uses the typewriter to write mails for different people. You have an opportunity to put different sort of characters in that aspect. So that's why for each episode, Violet sees or meet different people with different personalities and life stories, and Violet gets to learn this firsthand. And I think what's unique about this is that even though it's in a way it somehow seems like bland, you just introduce new characters for each episodes, but I think it's in another sort of perspective is that it's actually a good method in building towards that solid character development for Violet, because as you progress through, it builds the suspense of when is she gonna know the truth, when is she gonna know what the meaning of those words that her captain said to her, and her captain Gilbert said to her, and when is she gonna truly know that her captain is no longer there, is dead. And yeah, I think that's what took the most interest out of me.
I couldn't agree with you more, Amir. I agree that the side characters introduced between episodes 1 to 7 are there for the sake of Violet's growth as a character. These side characters with different backstories help show Violet a different perspective of life. You see, Violet has been only exposed to war, violence. So these side characters help show Violet the world in a more broader perspective. Now, my main issue with episodes 1 to 7 is that it can feel repetitive. In fact, by episode 6, I thought that this series was going to be even more boring, because you see the same style of episodes from episodes 2 to 7. Like literally, Violet goes to a place, she meets someone, she learns from that person also learns a bit from her. Done. Next episode, same thing happens again. So it does feel repetitive. It does feel like there's nothing really interesting going to go on. However, the reason why this is done is because it is for the sake of build-up. To reach that satisfying climax, we need that build-up. Yes, it can feel draggy, it can feel long, but that build-up is necessary, and it definitely satisfies me when the climax finally reveals itself.
Yeah, I agree on Amir Faiz on that note. Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, for episodes 8 and 9, we can see that these two episodes revolve a lot around the aftermath of the event of Violet knowing the truth about her major. And we can see that she is in the process of finding out more about the truth, and it shows that she puts effort in, traveling to her major's house to ask more about what happened back then. And I really admire how the developers insert flashbacks in order to explain what truly happened in the past to the audience, instead of using scenes to explain past events more dramatically, rather than explanations orally between characters per se. And this, personally, I feel that it's great because it evokes emotions, and it truly captures the audience's attention, and wanting to pull that curiosity of what's to come in the next few episodes. Both of these episodes also expands the character, Violet's character, as Violet as a character. We can see that in episode 9 that she was surrounded with guilt, disappointment, and we can see that she's depressed and she's sorrowful, and she's about to lose herself as we proceed more into that scene in the bedroom. And but as it reaches the end of the episode, we can see that even though you have ups and downs, one of the messages, even though you have ups and downs in life, even though you have downs in life, you will actually eventually have to get back up. And this is shown through the support given by her friends at the company. And they were showing concern, and right till the end we can see that her acceptance towards what happened started to flower. And she in the end she continues to wanting to do her job again.
I mean, I agree with everything you just said, but I especially like your points on the flashbacks. Now, flashbacks are used to reveal something new to the audience. Flashbacks are used to showcase something that has happened to a character's past, and it is meant to reveal something to the audience. Now, flashbacks are used sparingly between episodes 1 to 7. The flashbacks used in episodes 1 to 7 are meant to showcase what could be the truth. However, in episodes 8 and 9, it is used amazingly well. We get to follow Violet's pain, and that's why we understand her pain. We go through what she has gone through, the absolute shit life she has gone through, the violence, the pain, the bloodshed, everything, and we can understand where she is coming from. And when she feels sad, we feel sad as well. We understand the position that she is in, and we can relate to her to a certain degree. The pain that she has gone through, finding out that her beloved one is actually gone. One of the reasons why episodes 8 and 9 are so great is because of the catharsis. Now, what is a catharsis? A catharsis is the process of relieving repressed emotions in order to feel relief. So the catharsis for episodes 8 and 9 works in two different ways. First off, we have the sad catharsis. Once Violet actually finds out that the major is gone, that is a whole bundle of emotions inside Violet Evergarden that is just released out there. We've sensed her pain that has never been explicitly showcased. We see her crying for the first time, and we can't help but feel sad for her. We follow her through the journey of her finally accepting the fact that her beloved one is gone, and this comes the second catharsis, acceptance. She accepts her loss and she learns what is I love you, and we can't help but feel satisfied. This is great. You can't just help but feel very satisfied by the catharsis because of the whole build-up between episodes 1 to 7 is finally given a satisfying climax in episodes 8 and 9. It really is very satisfying.
Yeah, fair enough. I especially liked the part where you elaborated on the catharsis nature of the whole series, and you know that sort of technique. It really is a great move from the developers. The next part is for episodes, the last 4 episodes, episode 10 to 13. Well, after as you can call it a mini climax, you know, as it builds up to that episodes 1 till 7, and then you have I call it a mini climax before the actual final one at the end of the series. Anyways, on that note, we can see that in episode 10, right at the end, after she comes back to the company after writing all those letters for that small girl, you can see that she concealed herself from crying all that time she was there with the family, and it shows here that she truly shows commitment to her job and, you know, professionalism to keep in that sort of code, but in a way it also reflects how strong she wants to understand her own emotions and the meaning I love you. And I feel that this is great because it sort of kills two birds in one stone. And if you go deeper, you can also see that for episode 11, the developers made a great move on bringing about a link between Violet's career as a typewriter, as a ghost typewriter, and being involved with the Civil War. So like they did a great job in linking those two by bringing back her past and her present self. And you know, in the episode of her writing the letter for the dying soldier, yeah, I have to say that it was a very heart-wrenching scene at the end. You know, seeing Violet could no longer contain her emotions, and she cried along with the family of the dead soldier and his girlfriend. And this, what I can see and understand, it shows empathy towards the parents, because she feels that the feeling resonates with her, and that's why she could no longer contain her emotions. And I feel that this is one of the big points of her character development, because she now feels a lot more and reacts a lot more to the surroundings, rather than just being a weapon for the army back then. If we compare to episode 1.
I'm not gonna lie, episodes 10 to 11 are probably the two most strategic episodes of any series I've ever seen before. Now the purpose of episodes 10 and 11 is just to showcase how much Violet actually has grown. We see her being able to empathize for other people's loss because she has gone through that pain of loss. However, I just feel that the episodes there are for the sake of the tears only. Now, I'm not saying that the episodes are bad, but I'm just saying that if you remove those two episodes, they won't change anything, because we know that Violet can finally understand emotions in episodes 8 and 9. So I just feel that if you remove episodes 10 and 11, it won't do much for the whole series. And in fact, if you leave episodes 9 as the ending, it will be fine as well. But episodes 10 and 11 are definitely good episodes on their own. So I just feel that, no, this is just my personal opinion, I just feel that they are just there for the sake of making the audience cry.
So for last two episodes 12 and 13, the series again changed to a more action-packed sort of scenario and atmosphere. You can see we are reminded again that Violet as a character is a formidable weapon. used by the army, and then because it was somehow forgotten during her journey as a ghost typewriter, but the developers are bringing it back, giving a sort of hint at the start, and now they're bringing it back near the end as to work on the final climax of the series. And I find that this is great because you can see that Violet truly has changed, because this is one of her other biggest points in the dynamics of Violet's character, is that she no longer wants to kill people. She just puts up the signboard, no more killings. And it goes to show that she regrets about her past, and now she's being, we can see again that she's being self-conscious and reflective of her current state. And there's a bit of the character development from the Major's brother on that episode too, because we can see that he's trying to understand Violet, trying to help her, and perhaps show sympathy and maybe a sense of forgiving for Violet. And the last episode, I think that this was, it has to be the best way to end the final episode, because it sort of concludes it all. And the biggest development that we can see from one scene is that when Violet says she no longer wants to take orders from the Major's brother, and we can see that she is independent and she is no longer a tool. Her journey has helped her in seeing and understanding life as it is, or as a bigger picture. And yeah, again, it's the best way to end the episode, because she starts off by writing, and then now she ends by reading the letter that she has finished for the Major. And that part with a reciprocation of feelings of "I love you" to the Major was actually quite cute and sentimental. And the whole scene focused a lot on her emotions, and I feel that the bittersweet ending that the developers decided to choose to end the series was great, was amazing, and it actually left a mark in our hearts as I finished watching it. And yeah.
Now, episodes 12 and 13 are meant to tie up loose ends, specifically with the Major's brother. At first glance, I thought episodes 12 and 13 was, again, unnecessary. But when I look back, it does give the series a satisfying ending. It really does end the series well. So I guess that's it. Our thoughts on Violet Evergarden. I'd like to thank Amir for joining me in this episode. It has been a fun ride, albeit a long one, but I do enjoy our discussion together.
Not a problem, Faiz. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to be featured in your video, and the discussion we had on Violet Evergarden was really insightful, and I really appreciate and respect your views and your opinions. And I think both of us, after this discussion, we ought to get a deeper understanding, and we would appreciate the series a lot more, which I think is great. And Violet Evergarden being one of my favorite animes of all time, for me at the moment, it's always been nice to explore more about it with others who watch as well. The discussion went well, and for the audience, for you guys that are watching, do check out Faiz's other videos that he has made, and show him love and support for his YouTube channel. And I'm sure he'll make really cool videos again in the future, and feature perhaps other guests. And so yeah, thank you so much for having me as your guest, and it's been wonderful. And you guys out there, take care.
Thank you again, Amir. Now this is the end of the video. Thank you again for watching. Do leave your thoughts in the comments below. This is Amir Faiz signing off.